letter to Luke Bond.
Yeah, I met Luke.
And Aaron Madden, who you don't know. He came to one service.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I didn't know Ramona was converted.
Yep. And we may have one soon after, but I don't want to say anything.
No,
So,
I understand.
and it will make everybody smile when I announce that one.
Oh,
Because it's totally, off. Anyway. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem Synagogue here in Montgomery, Alabama. I am Rabbi Scott Kramer. We have 3 more weekends. And anyway, we are praying out of Sidor Lev Shalem. And okay, my readers just showed up. Good. And we'll start on page 5. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Sharet Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Barchuni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tzedchem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 11. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yeshenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yeshenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yeshenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yeshenu, bizmirot naria lo. We continue responsively. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector, filled with thanks. Let us greet God, raising our voice in song.
Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands form the earth's deep, a mountain pressed to God's work. The sea is God, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands.
Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us.
For Adonai is our God, and we are God's flock, sheep in God's caring hand.
If only you would listen today to God's voice and not become hard-hearted, like the people at Meribah, like the time at Massah, in the desert when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought.
For 40 years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way, so in anger I swore they would not enter my rest.
Arba'im shanakut bedor va'omaram to'e levavim v'hem lo yadid rachai asher nishpati v'yapi im yivaun Eheu menuchati, page 13. Shiru ladonai shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai baruch shemo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato, sapru vagoyim kevodo bechol ha'amim nifliotov, ki gadol Adonai. O mehulal miyod no rahu o ko Elohim lai 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 kiko Elohe amim melilim v'Adonai shamayim masa had v'hadar lefanav oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho Havul Adonai mishpachot amim, Havul Adonai kavod vaos, Havul Adonai ke'evod shemo, Seu mincha, Uvahu lechatzerod, Avlai lai lai, Shtachavul Adonai, Behadrat Kodesh, Chilu mipanav kol haaretz, Imrum vagoyim Adonai malach, Avtikum tevel balatimot, Yadina mimeh meisharim, Yismechu hashamayim v'tagil haaretz, Ayiram mayamu melo. Yalo Sadai v'chol asher bo lai 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 az yiranenu kulat seyar lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz yishpot tevel b'tzedek v'yamim b'emunato yalai la lai 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 la la lai lai Hey, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, lai. We continue with Psalm 97 on page 15. Tina, would you lead us, please?
Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice.
Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine, righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about.
Flashes of lightning illumine the land, the earth watches and trembles, mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the master of all of the earth.
The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory.
Worshippers of idols be shamed for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme bow before God.
Zion hears of it and rejoices. The cities of Judah exalt, as you, Adonai, cast judgment.
You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine.
Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful.
Light is sown for the righteous, and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name.
Or zarula tzadik will Yisrael have simchu tzadikim barunai v'hodu lezecher kadesho. Thank you very much, Tina. Page 17. Amizmor shiru latonai shir chadash ki niflot asa hoshia lo yemino Ozaroako Joadia Adonai Yeshuato Lena Goyim Gilad Sid Kato Zachar Chesta Ve'emunato Leveit Yisrael Rau Cholav Se'aret Et Yeshuat Eloheinu Oriu l'Adonai kol haaretz Bitzchum v'chanenu v'zameru Zamru l'Adonai bechinor v'kol zimera Bechatzot rod v'kol shofar Oriu livnei HaMelech Adonai Yiramayam u'maloho Tevel v'yoshveva Neharot yimcha uchaf Yachad arim yiranenu Lifnei Adonai kivo Lishbot haaretz Lishbot tevel b'tzedek V'yamim b'meisharim Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai lalai lalai. Page 19, Psalm 99. Joy, would you lead us, please? Page 19.
Adonai reigns, nations tremble. The one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake.
Adonai is great in Zion, above all nations. They shall acknowledge your name, saying, Great, awe-inspiring Holy One.
The sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the path of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly.
Exalt Adonai our God. Bow down before God, the Holy One.
Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God. You are forgiving God to them, even as you punish them for their transgressions.
Exalt Adonai our God. Bow down at God's holy mountain. For Adonai our God is holy.
Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lahar kadosho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We rise, page 21 for Psalm 29. Mizmor leDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kavod vos, Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, Ela kavod yirim Adonai omayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et al ze halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel, Livanon v'Sirion kemo ven re'emim, Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yechol ayalot, Vayechesab yaharot, Uvehechalo kulo merkavod, Adonai lamabul yashav, Yeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz li'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. We continue, page 23. Lecha dodi lekrat kala penei Shabbat nikabila. Lecha dodi lekrat kala penei Shabbat nikabila. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmi'anu elam yuchad. Adonai echad u'shamo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela lekrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekora biracha merosh mikedem nesucha sov maseh b'machshvat tchila lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzi mitocha hafecha ravlach shevet biyemek habacha v'hu yachamohu aleichem lalecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. We rise as we turn to the last stanza, Lachadudi, page 25. Bawi v'shalom ateret bala kam b'simcha uvetzala tochem unei am segula bawi chala lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. You may be seated. We continue Psalm 92, page 27. David, lead us, please.
The song of the day of Shabbat. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your name most high, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night.
Finger the lute, pluck the harp, let the sound of the lyre rise up.
You glad me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork.
How wonderful are your works, Adonai, how subtle your designs.
The arrogant do not understand, the fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms, only to be destroyed forever.
But you, Adonai, are exalted for all time.
Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered.
As a wild bull rises up his horn, you raised my head high, anointed it with fresh oil.
As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear.
The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in God's courtyards.
In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no flaw.
Tzadika tamar yifrach ki erez balvanon yiske shetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od ninuvun beseva deshenim verhananim yiyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlatabon. Page 29. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you were enthroned, you are eternal.
The rivers rise up, Adonai. The rivers raise up their roar. The rivers raise up their waves. Above the roar of the vast sea and the majestic breakers of the ocean, Adonai stands supreme in the heavens.
In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. So, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to everyone. I thought we would have there's another young couple that just moved into town. I thought they were going to come tonight, but I hope they do. So, it's nice to have young people here.
Meaning us?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I didn't qualify it. Come on. I said it's nice to have young people here. Oi is right. Oi is right. That's a good word. So on Saturday mornings, if you care to look on page 109 of your Siddur, there is a strange text that we read as prayer during the preliminary section of the Shacharit, or morning prayers. I say strange because it is a list of 13 rules of logic, if you can call it logic, that the Jewish Bible is to be interpreted with. While that is confusing and daunting, I don't at the moment want to go into the history of how it found its way into our Siddur. Rather, I want to point out just one of the 13 rules of logic. You could all call it illogic. They're strange if you can just read them and you'll understand. This one rule is called by a Hebrew phrase Gezerah Shava. And what that translates to, a general rule may be inferred from similar phrases in two different texts. That is what a Gezerah Shava is. So, if you have two texts within the Torah, and they have similar sounding Hebrew words in them, then that means something can be inferred from that, some type of general rule. And I'll just give you one example, and that, in fact, is the name of our Torah portion for this week, which is called Shlach Lecha. And for those that come every week and you hear names of portions, Shlach Lecha sounds like another portion. Okay, and I'll keep that out. So we keep that in mind, that we are reading in Bamidbar, or Numbers. And Shlach Lecha may trigger recognition of a similar phrase in Bereshit or Genesis. You might question how a two-word phrase from Genesis could have anything to do with a two-word text from Numbers. And of course, you'd be right to question this. However, the rabbis of old made up their own rules as to how to interpret the Torah. And the one they use now is called the Gezerah Shava. In fact, they look at the Torah as a single plane, that all of the Torah exists at the same moment. So they can take these two phrases and do anything they want with them. So let's take a moment and talk about what's going on in Numbers, and then what happens in Genesis around these two different phrases. In Numbers 13:1, our portion, Shlach Lecha, Moses sends meraglim, sends spies, one person from each tribe, to reconnoiter the promised land. They're wandering in the desert. 10 of the spies come back with a subjective report, rather than the one that Moses wanted, which was an objective report. Just the facts. They tell the Israelites, not Moses, that there are giants in the land, and their cities are well fortified and well defended. And then they say, we were grasshoppers in our eyes, as we must be to them. This constitutes a pretty bad report. Joshua and Caleb, the other two tribes to make up the 12, counter with how the land is filled with milk and honey, and bring back grapes and figs to show how fertile the land is. They also say that God will go before us and conquer its inhabitants. The Israelites believe the bad report and revolt to Moses, causing more tsuris, more trouble, eventually delaying their entrance into the promised land by 40 years. So right now, right before the spies go into the land, the Israelites were going to spend 3 days going from Sinai directly to the promised land. But because of this bad report, God says, you're all going to die in the desert. Only your children and grandchildren will be able to go in. So the phrase used for Moses sending the spies is shalach lecha, and you will send for yourselves, which is how it translates. So those that are familiar with the Hebrew of the Torah immediately are reminded of a similar phrase, lech lecha, in Genesis. The story there is the beginning of the Abraham narrative, where God commands Abraham to lech lecha, to simply pack up and leave his parents and family's home and place of birth and go to a place that he has no knowledge of. In fact, God doesn't even tell him where he's going. He is to go with no army or great numbers of people. He is not to look back, but simply go to where God wants him to go. And he does go with no questions or comments. He just picks up and goes. Complete trust in God, that God knows what is best and will protect Abraham without any harm, from any harm. Complete submission and contentedness, as Abraham showed at the Agudath, the binding of Isaac, where God asks Abraham to sacrifice his firstborn son, Isaac. And Abraham does it without question again. So here in our parsha, the Israelites have an army and great numbers of people and are leaving no one behind. Their entire family is with them, and there is no place to go but forward. And yet there is lack of trust. There is no trust that God will watch out for them and protect them. So I am struck by this gezerah shava, the similarity of expressions used in these two pieces of narrative, and it must be there to teach us something. So there are several ways I can use this teaching to reflect on our own lives, and you all probably can come up with examples in your own life. So with regards to me, I've moved twice in my life. Once from Salt Lake to Los Angeles when I entered rabbinical school, 2002, and then to Montgomery to become your rabbi. Both times we lech lechad rather than shlach lecha. We made both moves with complete trust that God and our hearts were doing the right thing. Yes, we did question and we did do a little spying. In both cases, we already knew that we would move. We simply were looking for an apartment or a home and then plunged into the unknown. And I am reminded of a phrase in Psalm 112, a psalm that some women say to their husbands on Friday nights at Shabbat dinner. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is steadfast, trusting in the Lord. Sometimes you just have to take that first step and trust that you are doing the right thing. So I've had a lot of time to reflect on this, especially as I'm contemplating retirement. And I have no plans to lech lecha from here, but it could happen in the future. But in looking back, I am proud of the fact that I lech lechad those two times, and really I went into both of them with trepidation, I didn't know how successful it would be. I didn't know how rabbinical school was going to work out. And coming here to a new community to take over was also a little bit of trust in that I hoped that it would all work out. And then 17 years later, I'm looking back, and I think it did. I think it did. Okay, that's my interpretation. You may have a different interpretation, but I'm asking you to all reflect on your own lives. Where have you lech lechad? And it doesn't even mean it has to be a physical move. It could be a change in your lives, a change of career, which I have done several times. It could mean a change, some type of change in your life, which you maybe didn't think you were going to do, but you had to do it, or you went with complete trust that it would all work out. Maybe coming back to the synagogue where you had been absent for many years. Possibly, and I'm not talking about anybody, I'm talking about everybody in general. I do know that, you guys hadn't been going to any place since you were in Palm Springs, right? Right? Yeah. Oh, Mississippi, right. But, and I'm sure, and you brought David kicking and screaming, and I don't think he really cared for it, but after, coming for, I don't know how many years, 10 years, 12 years, something like that. Yeah.
21 years.
No, I've only been here 17. Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about this synagogue.
8 years?
Yeah, okay, the 8 years. That is a lech lecha moment. You didn't come because you had to, it was the only place to go. You came because you wanted to, okay? Dotina, you came on high holidays for many years, and then you liked it. And, I remember you got sick, I think. We're in the hospital, and I sat with huh? There you go. And I remember I sat with David, and he started coming after that. So sometimes you get a little push. Sometimes you need that little nudge. But when you reflect later on that move, and you go, I don't really know why I did that. I'm not just picking on you. I mean, it's just an example, and I have my examples. But each of us has done things for a positive note. Sometimes you do things because it's negative, but you need to do it because you need to move on in life, okay? I'm sure that all of my congregants that had to move because of their children and because they became elderly and couldn't live here anymore, that's got to be the toughest thing. I know Mickey Feldman calls me at least once a month and tells me how hard that move was, and she wishes she was still here, But she's having a good time there as well. So that's what we need to reflect on. Not our shlach lecha, but our lech lecha. How many times have we gone into the unknown, just understanding and that God would take care of us, and we're making the right decision, even if we don't know what the outcome's going to be. Shabbat shalom. Continue with our service. Page 39A, we rise for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'oed. You may be seated. Baruch et Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. U'mahavir yom u'mevi laila, mavdio ben yom u'vein laila, Adonai Tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayim tamid yimloch aleinu lilam v'ed, Baruch atah Adonai. Hamari v'aravim, page 40. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael amchavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadta al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachveinu v'kumenu nesiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam voed ki heim chayenu v'orech yameinu uvohem nege yomam v'layla v'yavadchata mimenu la'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ho'ela asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinanetam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shachpecha v'kumecha ukshartam neot al yadecha v'hayu latotafot beinecha uchtabtam nam zuzot beitecha uvisharecha v'hayim shamoat tishma'u mitzvata asher nochi mitzavetachem hayim li'ava et Adonai Elohechem lovto. Vayomer Adonai Moshe lemor daber El b'nei Yisrael v'yamarta lehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei v'gdehem l'doratam v'natnu al tzitzit hakana petiot hachelep v'haya lachem l'tzitzit oritem oto uzchartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo tatu racharei v'avachem v'yacharei nechem asher tem zonim achareihem leman dizgaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etechem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Ehemet, page 43b. You proclaimed the covenant on the seventh day. You declared it and decreed it. We listened and heard it. You loved this day. We inherited, delighting in its remembrance. and began its command with the word remember, Zachor. From the time you bestowed it, joy filled the hearts of Yeshurun, the people you redeemed, securing the cause of righteousness. You exalted Shabbat as a sign between us forever. In 6 days your world was formed, and on the 7th day you rested. And on this day Israel, your people, rest. To honor your name, they sing songs of praise to the one deserving of praise. Page 44. Umalchuta b'ratzon kibolehem Moshe u'miyam u'vnei Yisrael chanishira b'simcha v'rabba v'yamachu chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedor b'kodesh Nora tehilot osefele Malchutecha uvenecha bokeyam lifnei Moshe Zeli anu v'yamachu Adonai imloch leolam voed v'nehemar ki v'ada Adonai et Yaakov ugalod mir chazak mimenu baruch et Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lasham. Ushmotzetenu vein l'chaim ulshalom yatav yad olam ufros l'nishkat shlomecha baruch et Adonai haporet sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. We rise, page 46. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat La'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat La'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam Oti le'olam oti le'olam Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat La'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat La'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam Uvayom hashvi Shavat vayinafash Shavat vayinafash Shavat vayinafash Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat La'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. We continue with the Amidah, pages 47 through 52. Let us take the time and reflect with God on those times that you put complete trust in him or her in your life. may be seated when you're finished. Shalom Rav Yisroel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisroel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atah melech Adon lechol shalom. Ki atah melech Adon lechol shalom. Shalom Rav al Yisroel Amcha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisroel Amcha Tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol ed u'v'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisroel Amcha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisroel Amcha Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. And we rise as we turn to page 56, and the ark is open for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teknu l'yotzei b'reishit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo simanu k'mishmachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim l'fnei melech malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu, shehu notei shamayim v'yosei haaretz, u'moshe v'yikarehu b'shamayim l'ma'al, u'shchinatu zo B'gavei meromim, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu evet zulato, kakatu b'torato, v'yadat hayom v'ashevota el levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, Bashamayim mimal, v'yal haaretz mitachat ein od alkein k'v'lach Adonai Eloheinu lirot mehed b'tivecha tuzacha l'aglulim min haaretz. Gagadu b'toratecha Adonai loch le'olam v'oed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz hayom ma'hu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo Echad. You may be seated. This week we will observe yard sites for Sophia Siegel Calden, Herman Kleinberg, Nathan Feldman, Paul Rudnick, Rebecca Tarika, Mel Allen, yes, that Mel Allen, Jeanette Hannon, and Irene Heller Rosenblum. Those observing yard site and those who mourn, please rise, page 58, and join me for the Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabba, b'yomad divrach chirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon, v'chayedachol beit Yisrael, b'agalov izman kari v'yimaru amen, Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'elam Olmel Maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Kudisha Barichu Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran b'yoma v'yimaru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mirmav Hu Yaseh Shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru Amen. You may be seated. You know, I heard so many colorful stories about Mel Allen from his brother Larry, who we buried a few years back. But the one he told me, he apparently Bear Bryant was in one of his classes and he failed him because he would never come to class. It's in his book. He also apparently that iconic hat that he wore apparently was a gift from Mel Allen. That's how he got that hat and that design. Yeah. So anyway, welcome to everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us for Kabbalat Shabbat. I am lost in my book. Oh yeah, I remember. Anyway, services will continue tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. And on Sunday is going to be a very, very packed day. First, we have an unveiling at 10 a.m. at Greenwood Cemetery for Terry Aronoff. And then pretty much the rest of the day, convening a Beit Din with Rabbi Steve Silberman and Neil Schwartz, Cantor Neil Schwartz, to convert 4 people. So we will have out of that at least 3 new people for membership. So that'll be pretty cool. Services, we will have services Monday, Monday morning at 7:15 a.m. And the office will be closed on Thursday for Independence Day. And I think that's it for now. Barbara, what would you like?
Good Shabbos. July 26th, we will say hello to Rabbi Zeri Sussman as she joins us for services. She will be our interim rabbi for the coming year. And after services, we will say goodbye to Rabbi Kramer. We hope everyone will attend Friday night services and our dinner. I was told to tell everybody that Bobby Siegel will be the master of ceremonies. Famous Bobby Siegel. So be sure and attend, and we hope to see you there. And as always, let's pray for peace for Israel and our hostages be returned. Shabbat Shalom.
I remember how funny he was at my installation.
I'm sure he'll be.
And he didn't even know who I was, really. And he was so funny. Anyway, so that'll be nice. Also, so 2 weeks from tomorrow, I hope you all come to Daphna's bat mitzvah. That's on July 13th. Can't believe it's July already. But it is coming up, whether we like it or not. And I know this is in the future, but on August 24th, we're going to have another baby naming for David and Louisa Weiss and their newborn Eden. So I'm hoping we get a lot of people that will come in. That is, it's going to be a Saturday morning as well. Rabbi Sussman will be here for that service, but I'll do the baby naming. So that should be a lot of fun. With that, we'll go ahead and complete tonight's service. Adon Olam, page 211. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'ed nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu echad v'ein sheni lam shelo leachbira b'li reshit b'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra v'hu eli v'chai go'ali v'tzor Ivli b'yetzara v'hu nisi umanosli minat kosi b'yom mekra minat kosi b'yom mekra b'yado afkid ruchi b'yet ishan v'yaira v'imaruchi kiviyati Adonai li v'lo ira Adonai li v'lo ira. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.